guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to review another sauropod, and it is another Collecta dinosaur, and he actually has two different versions, so he's got a little bit of a family. It is the Amargasaurus by Collecta. Turn him around actually because he's facing the other way. I don't think Collecta has completely hit the target as far as Amargasaurus goes. They haven't gotten one that is completely perfect yet. But honestly, I like both of these. I'm such a huge fan of Amargasaurus. I think it is such a cool looking sauropod, and it is so different from the rest of them that because of his striking appearance, I've always been a big fan of this dinosaur. So once I knew that Collecta had released a deluxe version, I had to get it right away. And honestly, I thought he kind of looked a little goofy in the promotional pictures, so when I got him home, he was actually much nicer than I realized. And again, same with this one. I put off buying this little one for so long because I thought it looked just very goofy and childish. But once I got him and took him out of the box, he looks much better than I had realized he would. And that's definitely not a bad thing. They're not perfect, but they're not bad. But let's take a closer look so you can see for yourself. We'll start with the smaller standard version first. You can see the detail isn't absolutely incredible on the head, but this is also a very small figure. Much smaller than the other one. The sculpt work is pretty good. It's nothing over the top. You can't see a ton of skin folds or scale work, but it's definitely there. It's just very small. But again, overall, I think it looks very nice. You can see they did put some work into the shoulder. You can see a little bit of the shoulder, some muscle tone here in the legs. The feet aren't really, there's not too much to them sculpt-wise. You just see that they did put some toes there, some toenails. They painted them a pure black color. This reddish color scheme, red-orange type look, is pretty neat looking. He does look very cool. I don't know if that's how he would have actually looked, but it does give it a nice little appearance. Nice long tail here, and the same goes for both sides. It's not bad at all, but there's not a whole lot to it. It's just a very small version of an Amargasaurus. But honestly, I do really like it. I think it looks very cool. He looks less childish than I thought he would in person. So he does look pretty cool. The eyes are nicely painted as well, and you can actually see a little bit of the teeth inside the mouth, but it's such a small figure they didn't do too much with the teeth, but it does look good regardless. Now the deluxe, there's a little more that we can actually look at and talk about. You can see the teeth are sculpted out, but they're not perfect, they're not separated, but they do still look pretty good. Few of the teeth are separated, but when you get to the front, they're kind of bunched together. Inside of the mouth, you can see the tongue, but you can't really get too good of an idea of how good the sculpt work is on it. I like the paint job of this, I really do. It looks very cool with this green and then the reds all over. I like that the red around the eye is actually a brighter shade than the rest of the color of the body, except on the inside here. You can see the inside of the sail on the back looks like kind of like the bright red here on the face. Or at least a similar color. Actually, it's a little bit of a different tone. It's even brighter, but the rest on the back here is darker toned. So they did put a lot as far as the different tones into this body, which is very cool to see, especially from Collecta, because I feel like a lot of the time they kind of lack different tones in their models, but they did do a good job on this one. They also have a white top to the head here with a little bit of a red stripe. So the sculpt work on the head does look pretty good. It definitely doesn't look bad at all. The eye looks beautiful. A nice white eye with a black pupil. The sculpt work even around the eye does look very, very nicely done. The whole neck looks very nice. The scales have been sculpted beautifully, along with the detail on the back of the neck coming up. Each one of these are separated, so it looks very nice the way they've done that. Beautiful skin folds down here in the shoulder area of the front legs. Actually, completely down the whole front, you can see there are some very nice skin folds. The feet look nice. There's not a whole lot to them, but you can definitely see that there is some significant detail put into them. He's in a nice little walking pose, like maybe he's just starting to take a few steps here. Some nice skin folds here on the side of the stomach, all over the place. Again, the scales have been carved out very nicely. Huge hip bone here on the back, which is something to take note of. He does have a very large hip bone that you can actually see come up out into the back of the dinosaur. And again, some nice skin folds going down the leg here. Not a whole lot as far as muscle tone goes on it, but it doesn't look terrible. They did do a good job, especially with the skin folds. The underside looks very nice, and as usual, Collecta does like to include this nice little underside detail that I really do like because it does help bring the dinosaur to life. Gives it a realistic look to it, to me. And then a nicely sculpted tail. The tail is just curved up but I do like the curve. I kind of feel like it would have been a little better if it curved to the side, but you know, that's okay. It still looks pretty good for the way it is. The overall color scheme of the dinosaur being green, some nice airbrushing done to it. I really like it. I think it looks very nice, and it could potentially be a very realistic look to maybe how it would have looked. You can even see the underside has some beautiful work done as far as the different tones, and I'm always a big fan of different tones because animals are not just one solid color normally. They do have different tones to their body. They did do a fantastic job as far as the tones go on this Amargasaurus. As far as the size of these guys, for this smaller standard version, you're looking at 6.5 inches long, and height-wise, he's very, very short. He's about 2 inches high. For the deluxe version, he's 11 inches long and about a little under 4.5 inches tall. So he's a good size. Both of them are very nice in my opinion. They're not perfect, you know, they're not the most scientifically accurate renditions of Amargasaurus, but I really do like them. And I actually like, especially this one, even though he's kind of a goofy look on his face, but I really like him a lot better than the 2018 Safari LTD version, which I think was just pretty lackluster. I feel like he probably could have had a much nicer tail. The tail really, it looks very short like this, but when you stretch it out, it does look pretty long. It doesn't look like it's that bad. I think the curl in the tail here makes me feel like his tail's much shorter than it should be. Even with it stretched out, it probably could have been a little longer, but I think that curl in the tail does give it a kind of a deceiving look to the length of the tail. But overall, I do really like both of these. As I said, this one just not too much in the detail department, but as far as a small Amargasaurus and the fact that they've sculpted these each separately, they did a good job. I really do like it. And then the deluxe version I think is also beautiful. So again, Collecta doing a great job once again on their dinosaurs. It's no surprise really. They usually do a fantastic job on almost everything that they release. Again, these aren't perfect. They're not completely scientifically accurate, but they do look very good for what they are in my opinion. So I will link you guys in the description as to where you can purchase both of these. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.